Director's Chair podcast. We talk about movies, TV, and a little bit beyond. I'm your host, Moose, and this is Jerod. I'm just jumping right into it because you know what? I'm doing it.
You did okay. Well, my name's Jerod. Hi.
All right. So obviously, we're gonna talk about Game of Thrones today
Because
Game of Thrones. Sucked. This episode did not suck, and I'm willing to talk about it, but only for about 15 minutes.
Wait.
So today we're going to be talking about Game of Thrones first for about 15-20 minutes.
15 minutes, Jesus.
15-20 minutes. I mean, look, spoiler alert for Season 8, Episode 5, and then obviously episodes prior to that, because we're going to be comparing and all that sort of junk, because, you know, we're fans of the show. We love the show. We would die for this show if this show had a really good end season.
Please make episode 6 great again.
Look, episode 6 is going to be good. I know it's going to be good because it's the end of a show that has lasted for over 10 years at this point.
Yeah, it's...
Look,
the budget that goes into this show just... They put so much time and effort into it, and like...
I'm going to tell you this.
Okay, last spoiler warning, because we're about to go into some deep stuff.
3, 2, 1. So Daenerys killing all of King's Landing.
Pretty much.
Yeah. That's basically what this episode was. And you know what? I'm okay with it. But I feel like it could have been handled a lot better.
So you kind of have the same view that I have.
Yeah. I mean, you're in the boat of you hate what the character did and now you despise the character. I understand that completely, and I understand why you hate the character. I want to talk about my points first, just really quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Daenerys wasn't this person already. She was this person. I mean, in season 1, she watches Viserys just die right in front of her, and she's cold about it. She doesn't give a fuck about it. And then next thing you know, she crucifies the masters. She murders the Tullys. I mean, there's a lot of story building leading up to her being like, yeah, this isn't out of the blue, because excuse me, King's Landing outed out her entire family. The Red Keep was built by her family.
Yeah.
And that's something that, stays prominent in the show. The show, she was the rightful heir. And she was also, the person who was supposed to bring back the Targaryen name. And, I feel as though it's a good show because I knew at least it was going to happen. However.
Wait, so this actually brings me back to an episode from season 3 or season 4. I don't know exactly when it happened. But there's actually a scene, they foretold that this was going to happen because remember that scene where Dany is walking through the throne room and it's snowing and it's destroyed? Yeah. People kept speculating that it was the Night King that did that. Turns out it was Dany who did that.
A lot of people were saying that originally it was ash, that the snow was actually ash.
There was two speculations. It was either the Night King was there or
that it was Dany.
That it was Dany who did it.
Another thing that was really cool that I really enjoyed about why this was, why I kind of saw this coming was if you remember back into the previous seasons, you see foreshadowings of this episode. I mean, you see, excuse me, you see, Bran used to have these visions and visions into the future that we didn't understand. And there were visions into the future with dragons flying over King's Landing. But you didn't really understand what it meant because at that point, Daenerys' dragons were still a little bit younger and they hadn't fully grown into the dragons that they are now. Or
Dragon.
Drogon is now. So, I mean, and then you also see in that vision that it's only one dragon. So
Yeah.
I feel like the reason why everybody is saying there's not a lot of character development in this season is because a lot of it was foreshadowed in previous seasons. And you don't need to, like, overextend it. But at the same time, it could have been written a lot better. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think... And they know how to make me hate someone, because I remember watching that episode. I was like, "Oh, Danny, you suck. You're terrible. No one's ever gonna like you," and stuff.
You
like
can
that.
swear if you want. I've been swearing the whole fucking podcast.
But like, she absolutely sucks now. Like, I feel like they care. Like, and point taken. But I feel like. Yes, I do feel like she was eventually gonna do this, but I think like.
Just her
Actually, I
doing
think
it.
now I think about it, the bells ringing and them like giving up, and then her looking at the red keep. I do think that is a little bit more justified now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's
I
just when you were there and you were seeing. What was really getting me was like, Danny messed up her chances of being on the Iron Throne just from that one action, because no one's gonna follow her now.
I mean, I think of it in the sense of, she's going to be like the Mad King. And the only reason why Robert's rebellion happened was because it was based on a lie. Because of that whole Lyanna and Rhaegar situation where, he kidnapped her. Mm-hmm. And that's why Robert's rebellion started. That's why, the Mad King's power was challenged. And that's why I think, ironically, what started the first rebellion is going to start the next rebellion. Jon is probably going to start the next rebellion. He's going to kill Dany. Unfortunately, I feel like that's what's going to happen. And I feel like he's still going to be like, I don't want the throne. And he's going to be like, I just want to live in Winterfell. Hell, not even Winterfell. He probably wants to go with the free folk. Maybe they'll do something fucking sick and crazy and fucking just burn the Iron Throne and be like, everybody go be in their own kingdoms. That would be so fucking sick to me. Just be nobody's on the Iron Throne. That would be fucking sick.
Well, I mean, there's no point ruling King's Landing anymore since it's, destroyed. And even then, she's like, she burned
the Iron Bank of Bravos will fix everything.
But like, yeah, it's. I feel like
it was rushed.
I don't think it was rushed,
or not rushed. It was more like It was just it could have been handled a little bit better. Like there needed to be like it could have been okay. I'm gonna sound like an editor right now. It could have been cut better, because I'm thinking of it in the sense of, we didn't know what was going on in Dany's head at that particular moment. I mean, obviously she was feeling vengeful for Missandei, and did you turn the recording on?
No.
Okay. Well, obviously she was feeling vengeful for Missandei, and obviously Cersei betrayed her and didn't bring her armies to the north. Obviously she's been feeling kind of betrayed by, her armies and stuff like that. She's kind of being betrayed by Jon, Varys, kind of Tyrion, definitely Sansa. I mean, I'm not even gonna talk about Sansa, but Sansa basically became Littlefinger.
Yeah. The only people that are really following her now are the Unsullied and the Dothraki. The Dothraki because they think she's a god pretty much right now.
Yeah.
And the Unsullied because she freed all of them. So they're like, well, we have no other purpose.
Something that confuses me is, where the fuck did she get all of the Dothraki back? Weren't all the Dothraki killed? That would have been sick if it was just Unsullied. Because, I remember watching The Long Night, and I'm like, okay, I really hope that this has lasting consequences. Within the first 5 minutes, all the Dothraki fucking died.
Yeah, if all the Dothraki were gone for the 5th episode, you've been like, dang. That would have made more impact for episode 3. Episode 3 is like, you hear all these things about the Dothraki screamers and how they can destroy whole armies in minutes. And then the Dothraki go out into the night and all their lights are extinguished. It shows you that the Night King was he was the shit.
Yeah.
He was not to be fucked with.
It would make the Night King have staying power.
Yeah.
Because, I'm going to tell you this. I miss the Night King. There, I said it. I'm upset that they didn't keep the Night King for much longer. Because, I remember episode 1 and episode 2, I was like, I'm okay with how these episodes are strictly and only strictly because of the fact that the Night King is coming. And that's why I was like, okay, they're slowly building up to the Night King coming, and he's gonna probably fucking wipe the floor with Winterfell, and then he's gonna take down King's Landing. Maybe like later on down the line, Jon and Daenerys are probably gonna survive the fight, something like that. Everybody else dies. I was thinking like that.
They go to King's Landing and they're like, hey, we failed up north. He's coming down here.
Yeah.
Could you?
I feel like people like Sansa and Tyrion and all that sort of shit. All of them should have died. Like everybody should have died.
That would have made the
Winterfell.
Night King very scary.
It would have had a lot of staying power. And then also kill Bran. That would have been so fucking cool. Not to mention the fact that, they could have kept, core characters that you need alive to fulfill that prophecy of, Arya, where she says she'll shut brown eyes, blue eyes, and green eyes.
Yeah, and then she escapes too with Jon and Daenerys.
Yeah, she escapes with them. And then it's like, they fight, and then it's, Arya kills the Night King. And then, Jon and Daenerys can just be like, yeah, nobody has to know that we're related. And they rule as king and queen.
What if, cool. The Night King goes to King's Landing and he does all that stuff? It's kind of like episode 3, but it happens kind of twice. But this time, when the Night King dies, it's at King's Landing. And the only people left are Arya and, Jon, Daenerys, Cersei and Jaime and stuff like that. Those are the only people left.
I think the big thing, a lot of people say that they're disappointed with episode 3, and I can see where people come from with that. It mainly had to do with the lighting. However, I'm happy with the episode strictly because, it makes me feel like I'm with the people that are there. It makes me feel like, oh yeah, I'm in it with them, and all these people that are fucking just dying are dying. Just fucking dead.
Gone.
They're dead.
Jorah's death, and I watched it twice. Jorah's death the second time actually hit me. Yeah. That time, the first time I was like, oh, Jorah's dying.
I watched episode 5 a second time, and I was like, I'm gonna see how I really feel about it. And I watched it. And it hit me just as hard as it did Jorah that Cersei and Jaime are dead. What's the word I'm looking for? I remember watching it and I'm like, fuck yeah, Cersei's fucking dead. And then I was like, fuck, Cersei's dead. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't feel bad for her. I don't think that she's innocent in any way. However, at the end of the day, she was a person who cared about her kids, who cared about the love of her life. Ironically, it was her twin brother, but it was something that, really hit me. And it's this character is really fucking tragic. The prophecy came true. She was dethroned by somebody a lot more beautiful than her.
And I've
watch it's Jon on the Iron Throne after that. He's like, I'm the one who fucking defeated Cersei. Fuck you.
Wavy hair.
I really want it to be imagine next episode Drogon.
Actually, the prophecy said she'd be dethroned. Doesn't mean the person's gonna take the throne. She's
gonna be dethroned by somebody more beautiful than her. That's what I heard.
Removed, but not necessarily replaced.
You're looking too much into it. Imagine next episode you just see Daenerys just crying and Jon's like, what the fuck happened? And she's like, Drogon was hungry. I didn't know what to do. Drogon was just murdering people because not like through her like own like means. That would be so.
There's like bloopers and like you don't see.
Stop! Oh my fucking god!
Daenerys is like, all you see is Daenerys get mad, and then as they take off, there's just bloopers. She's like, "Okay, Drogon, this is fun and all, but I kind of need this city."
I was thinking to myself like, okay, so she's just going to the Red Keep. She's not murdering innocents. She doesn't need to murder innocents.
I saw the dragon go for a strafing run on the citizens, and I was like, "Oh, Warhog inbound."
All right.
That's what I thought they were gonna do with the White Walkers. Like the first thing I was talking to my brother about it, he was like, I was like, what if they just start doing Warhog strafe runs on the dead? They're just like Warhogs inbound. The Night King's like, what the fuck?
Look, overall, my final thoughts on, the Night King, all that sort of stuff. Look, overall, Game of Thrones has been a little bit iffy this season. I still like it. I'm still in love with the show. I'm obviously going to watch the final episode. However, one way that I feel like the episode should have ended, obviously it ends on Arya. But I feel like it should have ended with her like listing off the people on her list, her kill list that died.
And then ending with
Daenerys. Because, I mean...
That would have been really
cool.
To
fulfill her prophecy from the Red Woman, she has to kill Daenerys. Reason being...
And the Red Woman's been right pretty much the whole time.
Yeah. And she said, like, Jon was going to lead the Great War. He did. Did he win the Great War on his own? His own? No. But he managed to bring everybody together so that eventually they could
fight the Night
King and end the Great War. But yeah, overall I like Game of Thrones. I'm gonna keep on watching. I'm gonna watch the final episode. If I'm disappointed, I'll be disappointed. I don't care. I'm still gonna say Game of Thrones is the best show on television.
Yeah. I'm not gonna let the last 2 episodes like ruin my whole judgment of the rest of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat all the fucking chickens in this room.
Rest in peace, the Hound. The Clegane Bowl was rad.
That's what my dad said while we were watching. He's like, "Well, there goes the Clegane Bowl."
Like, oh my fucking
my bet was on the Hound.
My bet was on both of them dying, and I won that bet, and my brother now owes me $50.
Technically the Hound was the one that pushed him in, so did I win?
Well, both of them died.
Yeah, but the Hound was the one that pushed him into the fire.
Well, I mean, when somebody's sticking their thumbs into your fucking eyes trying to crush your skull, I don't think you can say you're winning at that point. You just kind of tackled him.
I love how the Hound at the very end, he's like, "Why won't you just fucking die?
Just fucking die already."
And then he put it through his head, and I was like, "Why didn't you do that the first time?"
All right, so for the rest of the podcast, I do want to talk about something specific. I want to talk about your piece, Hiding in the Light.
Hiding in the Light, okay.
Yeah. So for the next 2 podcasts, we're obviously going to talk a little bit about like things that have been happening in like terms of like TV, movies, all that sort of stuff. But the second half, we're just going to keep it strictly to talking about our projects, where they stand, all that sort of stuff like that. So this week we're going to be talking about Hiding in the Light, your project. It has a trailer out on, it's not on YouTube, right? It's on your Instagram.
Yeah, it's on the Instagram and the Facebook page.
Yeah, so I want to ask you a few questions about it. I don't have any questions prepared, but I'm going to wing it.
Kind of like what we do for everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, when you were coming up with the idea originally,
I'm telling you this now, like, what I have now for the final film is 60% of what I wanted.
Yeah. That's the way with all of our projects, though.
Yeah.
Mine was about 70, though, but that was just because, it was really easy to shoot mine.
Yeah.
I mean, we feel like... So, I mean, here is the question that I have. When you're originally coming up with the concept for your film, what exactly got you to, like I call her the entity.
It actually
the entity. How did it kind of wind up being like, he's hallucinating about this girl that I'm not gonna spoil it. Never mind. Actually, you know what? By the time that this podcast comes out,
you should have watched it.
You should have watched it. Spoiler alert for Hiding in the Light. So I mean, how did you come to that conclusion of like, this girl is somebody from his past. It's somebody that he used to love, and like how did you kind of come up with that concept?
Okay, so the original concept, she actually didn't die.
Okay.
The original concept, this sounds really, really stupid, but she actually broke up with him in the original concept and left him, and he's trying to figure out why. Like, why did you leave me? Like, I don't understand what I did wrong. And
keep in mind that you originally wanted to make this piece a horror movie.
Yeah. Well, and then like he sees visions of her, and he doesn't understand. Like he doesn't understand why
he's seeing these visions.
Yeah, like he's talking. He's like he's with this girl now. This is like a year after they break up, but for some reason he can't stop thinking about her. He doesn't know why he keeps thinking about her. And then he learns that she didn't want him anymore. Like she doesn't love him anymore, but this girl does. And he should stay with her.
This girl being the girl that he ends up with.
Yeah.
This girl is better in the actual film. He ends up with the same girl. It's just that there are different themes to it because it's losing somebody that you care about. And that's something that I resonate with a lot. Maybe not specifically a girlfriend, but definitely I've lost people that I've cared about, whether it's them dying or them just not being around anymore. I understand that. I understand that completely. Without getting too personal, what exactly brought you to like that idea? Like what exactly brought you to that?
I'm not gonna say anyone's name, but
if they watch it, they'll know. It's fine.
Yeah. This girl I dated. After we broke up, I kind of had a hard time like moving on afterwards, and I kept thinking about what did I do wrong? Like I don't understand what did I do wrong? And then I realized it wasn't me, it just wasn't working. Like I shouldn't blame myself or her for that matter for what happened. It's just we weren't compatible, pretty much. So instead of blaming her or blaming myself for it, I just learned to forgive.
Yeah. And then obviously ironically the film kind of mirrors your life in that sense where it's like, well, obviously it's not the same concept. The girl that broke up with you isn't dead. I would hope.
No, she's not dead.
But
I don't think she is.
If it was that original concept, it kind of mirrors your life right now because you are dating somebody and you are happy with them. And I haven't talked to her personally, but the way that I see her look at you, she's happy with you, man. And don't think otherwise. If you cry right now, I'm gonna punch you in the nose.
I don't cry. Crying is for
pussies.
Yeah.
Crying is for pussies. But thank God I'm a man.
Honestly, I actually started this project before I started dating. I'll just say her name, Emma.
No.
Emma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was not the other one. I'm not gonna say the other one just in case. But like, ever since dating Emma, I haven't been happier. Well, Yeah, I
haven't been happier.
I have not been any more happy than
I haven't been happy at all.
She's amazing.
Yeah. So when you were coming up with the scenes and you were coming up with like, you know, no dialogue and stuff like that, what brought you to like the whole I don't want to use any dialogue, I don't want to use any sort of like things like that. I just got an email on my phone.
Well, there's
nope. Hey, look, Rick and Morty season 4. It's coming out in P. That's what the email said. I'll put it in the comments later. But yeah, like when you were coming up with the scenes, when you were coming up for it to be like basically a silent film, like what pushed you to do that?
There's 2 reasons. One, Matea kind of told us to challenge ourselves, and I was like, hey, I'll challenge myself by...
Well, I challenged myself by making a film, something that I never thought I'd be able to do.
Yeah, but I kind of pushed it to the extreme. But the second reason, too, and the artistic reason, not just because it was a challenge, but is to try to make it seem like everything is internal. Like everything you hear inside of the film
is all in his head.
Yeah, is all in his head. And like the whole point is it's supposed to be psychological horror that, like in horror movies normally, the person running away from the killer can like hide and like get away from the killer and stuff like that. But this is psychological. This follows you no matter where you try to hide, no matter where you go, you're stuck.
Yeah.
You can't get away from this.
Yeah.
Like, and I was trying to capture that.
Yeah, I understand that because I know that obviously the entity that is haunting him is in his head. It wouldn't make sense if the entity was real. It's like, hi, I've returned from the dead. It's fucking Pet Cemetery.
I should have made it. I should have actually, now I think about it, I should have had a scene where Christina is like, Christina's the entity.
The actress who
the actress that plays the entity is like standing right there in front of someone else and the other person doesn't see it. Like only I see it.
Yeah.
Like make it really obvious that it's in my head.
Like very creepy kind of horror-esque. And I mean, that's the reason why like your movie obviously evolved from like a straight up horror into more of like a drama. And I feel like that's something you've come to terms with in terms of like how the story is structured. And I mean I think of it in the sense of like, you know, it's still creepy. That's the whole intent. Mm-hmm. However, I think that it's definitely more so like a drama and like somebody trying to deal with a loss, and we slowly reveal like all the information that happened.
Yeah. And then the ending, I'm not going to mention the ending actually because that...
You already put a spoiler warning, it's okay.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Spoiler warning.
And this I like actually asking this question to people. When I show someone the film and then afterwards I'd be like, what do you think the lesson is? And I ask them and they're like, some people actually got really close to what the lesson was supposed to be, but it's a very specific lesson I'm trying to teach through this film. Actually, 2 of them. There's 2 specific ones I'm trying to teach in this film. The lesson originally from like the original script was kind of different. It was kind of more like
accepting that.
Yeah, accept that people leave in your life and stuff like that, and you can't force love.
Well, that can technically be applied into this movie. Everybody leaves.
But the moral of this one now, and the last one, at the ending, you see what happens in the ending where he like holding her hand on the door and what they mouth. We don't put any words there, but you can see that they're obviously saying, "I love you." And that was right before she leaves.
Shout out to all the deaf people that could read lips.
I can't believe you've done this. But you can obviously see that they're saying, I love you.
Yeah.
And at that moment. right before she gets into the car accident. So it's supposed to show that like she's going to die, but they say I love you before they leave. So like this actually goes back to something that happened in my life where my mom and my grandma were arguing like the night before my grandma died, and the last thing my mom said to my grandma was bye, see ya. Like that's such a shitty way to leave off. And I always want to say that like if you truly love someone, the last thing they should hear from you is I love you.
Yeah.
Before they go away.
Yeah. I understand that I understand the whole like point of the film. Obviously, I've been around the production long enough to kind of understand. I'm gonna argue with you though in terms of I feel like not every film needs a lesson. I mean obviously the film is impactful, it means something, and obviously the lesson is in like kind of like the subtext of it. Mm-hmm. But I mean not every film needs a lesson, because I feel like the material should speak for itself. I feel like if it's truly what you intended, the audience should know without knowing, you know?
Yeah, they should already get the gist.
Yeah, like if you're trying to teach a lesson, don't make it like, oh yeah, I wanted this film to be about like knowing, like to make sure that, you know, you have closure with somebody every single time you're leaving them. Essentially, that's what you're basically saying.
Yeah, but it's not really obvious, because I've asked people like what they thought the lesson was.
It's definitely not obvious. I'll tell you that. It's I'm not trying to be a dick about your film, but it's not obvious at all. There's no hints at it at all. No. But I mean, yeah. I mean, I just think of it like, I know for my piece, it was very much so, what's the word? It was very much so, you know, I wanted to make sure that it was an entertaining story and a sad story above all else. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, my friend who was, Jeremy, he was color grading my film, just to kind of give my film a little bit more of like a bleaker kind of tone to it. Mm-hmm. He was watching it after he finished color grading it and all that sort of stuff, and he's like, dude, I was fucking sobbing the entire time. And I'm like, really? He goes, yeah. I'm like, that's interesting. And I'm not trying to, well, obviously it's awesome to make people cry. Put that on my tombstone.
It's awesome to make people cry.
Yeah.
As they're crying at your tombstone because you died.
It's awesome to make people cry. But I mean, yeah, I just think of it in the sense of, I'm not going to get too much into my piece because we'll talk about it next week. But
you didn't want people to start crying. You wanted people
I mean, I'm not trying to make people feel anything. I'm just trying to show. I mean, I'm that kind of person who really likes the fly on the wall perspective, in terms of like, not like camera angles. I'm talking about like, you know, you're just kind of dropping in on these people's lives. You don't really know what happened, but you find out, and it's something that, you know, you watch it and you go, wow, you're like dropped right in the middle of these people's lives, and it's something that, you know, you watch and you go, wow, this is interesting. This is interesting to kind of watch. It's interesting to kind of see, and that I'm very interested in that fly on the wall perspective, and that's why I kind of leave the ending open ended. So like, obviously, I'm not gonna make a sequel. I don't want to make a sequel. I hate sequels. I like just coming up with original concepts and original content to release.
I think for my piece, I'm gonna end up not remastering it, but pretty much
redoing the entire project.
I'm gonna redo it until it's at least 90% of the way I envisioned it.
Yeah, I think.
And maybe I'll keep the whole dying thing, but like,
I think that you need to. Sorry, excuse me, but I think you need to embrace the fact that I mean, your projects could work so much better if you weren't trying to do it completely as a silent film. And it would also work a lot better if you embraced the really dramatic aspects of it.
So maybe
instead of trying to make it super horrific, try to make it super dramatic, and make it like the entity is haunting him, but it's more like, oh yeah, she's talking to him and like all this sort of stuff like that. And it's like maybe he's like just he thinks he's going crazy, but he's not. He's just like it's sort of like a semi downward spiral where he's like, I don't know if I can get over you, and then he figures out that he can. And then the whole reason why she's there is so that he can move on.
Mm-hmm. The main thing I wanted to follow, and this was actually another inspiration. It sounds so stupid if you're thinking, like, hearing it for the first time, you might be like, why did you get inspiration from that? But, like, if you just hear the quote and you think about it a few times, it actually means a few things. Okay, so
I'm listening. I just found a speck on the table.
The inspiration actually came from a Kendrick Lamar song. He's already heard this one, but
just say it. Say it down the barrel of the camera right now.
Barrel.
The barrel of the camera.
Barrel. Okay. The quote goes, "Love, let's talk about love. Is it everything and anything you imagined it be? Or does the feeling haunt you? I know the feeling haunts you." And that's what I'm trying to, that's the main thing that like I was trying to capture was like someone you loved so much can be so haunting because now they're gone.
So you take that literally is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I do. I just think that, it's taking it literally is something that, I like the whole spirit aspect. However, I feel like a spirit can be haunting and not, be super creepy. It could just be something where it's like the spirit is just haunting you, and it's not like her being creepy, her pushing desks aside and all that sort of shit like that. It could just be like, like he's going through his day and he just
sees her.
He just sees her and hears her voice, and she actually starts talking to him, and I think that would be more horrifying than just trying to be creepy. Maybe she can be like, I'm here. I'm not gone. I'm not gone completely.
Maybe like somewhere in there, like the new girlfriend or the nowadays one is like they get into an argument because he's like I see her, she's alive, and she's like, what the hell is wrong with you?
She's it's like
dead.
It starts breaking down his relationship, and then he confronts the girlfriend at the grave. You know what? I'm not gonna dive too much into it, so there's not as many spoilers when you re-release it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Overall, I think your project's really good. I definitely think that redoing it later on in the future is really cool. I think that would be a good idea. However, I think that you need to kind of rework it and make it so much where it's like a drama. It's more a drama than a horror movie. Because I feel like the horror aspects don't land as well for like trying to serve the story well. Because I feel like everything has to be done in the purpose of the story. I mean, I was talking to my friend, and she was watching my piece, and she goes, she goes, every single shot in your film has a purpose, whether it's revealing someone's emotion or revealing, what a person is, like what a person's thinking and stuff like that, whether it's, getting a specific shot of a person like screaming at somebody and stuff like that. Every shot in the film has a purpose. And that's why I feel like, I'm probably not going to redo my piece, But that's just because, you know, I like the way that my piece is. I'm not gonna change it because, you know, I'm happy with my piece.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I had to change anything about it, it would probably be the way it opens. But other than that, I like it. I'm happy with it.
I kind of like the way yours opens.
What, with the
phone call?
Not gonna spoil it. Never mind. But anyways, yeah. I'm overall happy with your project. I'm overall happy with my project. We'll talk about my project next week. Anything else you want to talk about?
Nothing in TV shows or movies. Nothing.
Not that I'm aware of, unless I want to bring up Hellboy again, which I'm not going to. So I think that'll be it for us today. If you guys like the podcast, please make sure to share it with everybody. Make sure that you like it. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Media Retroactive and go to my website, www.theretroactivemedia.
Two things. One, still haven't got any messages. You guys need to send like a message to the mailbox so that we can, you know, talk about it. And you can send anything. You could be like, you guys are awesome, or you guys suck, and we'll talk about it. We'll be like, give us criticism, give us recommendations, give us something to talk about so that we can talk to you guys specifically, so that you guys feel connected. And second off, we're really close to getting the podcast on every platform.
Yeah, if you haven't already, make sure to follow the Director's Chair podcast on YouTube. Actually, subscribe, not follow. I'm stupid. And also be sure to like Gravity Productions on Facebook so that you can also watch the Facebook version if you're more into Facebook. The iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud also.
Beatbox. Podbean.
Wherever podcasts are available, we're gonna try our best to upload them within the next few weeks.
The only place I'm waiting, actually, it's on everywhere now. Every single place I could be on it. The only place I'm waiting for a review on now is iTunes. Once that happens,
Wait a second, it's on Spotify?
It's on Spotify.
Our podcast is on Spotify.
Yes, our podcast is on Spotify.
Yeah. If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Spotify. Spotify is dope. Make sure to watch us on Spotify.
And the only thing that we don't have is iTunes. That's it. But I turned it in. It's under review. Once I get a message, I'll post something about it.
So, yeah, just make sure to follow the Director's Chair podcast on every single social media. If Jerod's nice, he'll post it right here. Like every single social media, just put like links.
I already have lower thirds for everything.
Not links, I know, but like just do like a lower third for every social that every.
It's gonna take up the whole screen.
The podcast is on. Anyways. Be sure to follow the Director's Chair podcast. Also follow me at Media Retroactive, and also follow Retroactive Media on YouTube. Subscribe. Retroactive Media is the channel name. And then
follow me at Gravity Productions. You can go to the website, Facebook, Instagram. It's Gravity_Productions for Instagram.
Why underscore? Answer that question for me.
It wouldn't let me put a space.
Why can't you just keep it one word?
Because it just looks weird. I don't know, it just looks weird.
Yeah, and you look like a fucking spaghetti noodle. What does that matter? Anyways, be sure to like, follow, share everything for both of our production pages. But we're trying really hard to produce as much content as we can because we really want to get out there. We really want to be a part of this industry.
Leave a message too. Don't forget to leave that message.
It doesn't matter. I don't really care about the messages. I just want to know that you guys are following us, making sure that you guys are liking our content, and also enjoying everything that we're putting out there. Because, you know, I'm enjoying everything that we're putting out there, and I hope that everybody else is too. So yeah, be sure to like our Facebook page. Be sure to like our videos, and be sure to follow us. So yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys in the next episode of the Director's Chair podcast. I can't talk today.
Bye bye. Peace. Oh, you said peace. So you hate when I do peace.
I never said that I hated you doing peace.